It's blown up.
Yeah.
Quite honestly. And it's not, you know, I like to think I have a very, very, very small role in that. But there's this rich history, especially down in Deep Deuce, of jazz, mainly with Charlie Christian, who is the young Oklahoma jazz guitar player. His guitar, I believe, is still hanging in the Hall of Fame.
It's somewhere.
It's somewhere.
Yeah.
So that kid, I mean, Charlie Christian was the arguably the first star of the electric guitar, because just how timing worked with the amplification, but so there's that rich history, and like I said, I've only been here 5 years, but so I can't speak to the last, you know, decades and decades of a jazz scene here. All I know is that in the last few years, a few places will pop up like this, or like Cache and the Rose Creek Country Club, which are specifically geared towards jazz. But you will also have a ton of places have jazz nights. VZD's has a jazz night. The Blue Note has a jazz night. Excuse me. Bradford House, which I book, has a jazz night. And I think people are, you know, the goal is to not take away any gigs from anyone else. But I think that there's been so much of the acoustic kind of singer-songwriter red dirt thing here, which is great and has its own vibe. But there is something to be said about jazz, early American roots music, that as an entertainment that sets the vibe perfectly for so many places. And even places that wouldn't necessarily be a jazz place, like VZD's, and having a great jazz night. So I've definitely seen this bump, and it's been great because all the players I know in town are thrilled that there's more work than ever. And I don't know where that's going to go, other than I hope to see a few more places like Round Midnight that are a little more geared towards that. Because you can make a jazz night anywhere, but it's still not. Doesn't mean it's a vibey jazz club. Not that we need 20 vibey jazz clubs, you know.
Right.
But yeah, it's been a cool little thing to see. Like I said, I don't know where it's going, but I think everyone's enjoying where it's at right now for sure. And there's so many good players here.
Yeah.
That's the cool thing. There's so many good players, and I'm meeting new ones all the time. And now that I book a ton of dates for people. People are coming to me. They're coming to me with friends. They're like, you should check out this person. You should check out this person. And now I'm like, if I need a vibes player, I'm like, who like, I'll ask a couple people. Who do you know that does this? And I'll just, person after person, a lot of cool players in town. It's not music that everyone listens to.
Right.
But it always kills. Mm-hmm. Everyone loves it. And it's because it's a vibe. It fits the room. And like, it's just cool. There's no denying it's cool music. You know, early jazz, early rhythm and blues. It's got that soul to it. With live music, yeah, no, you're not going to have a hard line of this is now what everyone listens to. Of course not. But I think supplying, because my thing with booking with Blue Lounge Presents, my tagline's been music that fits the room. Because like, how many times have you been in a restaurant, and this happens all the time. Like I was in a Mexican restaurant the other day, which will remain nameless. And I'm not joking. I sit down to order some food and the song Barbie Girl from the 90s is playing.
Oh, that's just.
And I'm like, how, this is not fit. This does not work. No. Am I saying that you need norteño music? No. Do you need ranchero music? No. But like, it's got to fit the room somehow.
Yeah.
And so I feel like there's always been a few places in town I've walked into and I'm like, oh man, you took it 95% the way there. Yeah. And music is such a sensory thing. You know, it's like walking into a bakery and it smells like baked goods. If you walk into a bakery and it smelled like a tire store, it'd be weird, you know? It's like having that music and having, even if you just have a Spotify playlist in your restaurant or your bar or your business, put some thought into it. Like, that has so much to do with vibe and what people like.
Right.
That's why I always reference, when I talk about vintage vinyl, I reference Billie Holiday and Fats Waller. I'm like, I could just play Fats Waller and Billie Holiday and it would just set that vibe anywhere I go. And that's what I want people to hear that and be like, okay, this is nice. I can chill. I can relax. But yeah, it's kind of just creeping it into people's minds that like, hey, this music's still here.
Right.
It was super cool. This is from Americans, what's called the greatest generation. That's what it's dubbed, of the 30s. And for a lot of reasons, that's correct. And I don't think music's gotten much better since,
right.
Since then. A lot of people will argue with me on that, but that's a whole different discussion.